Alego. I am the project coordinator for WATAMU Marine Association. We have two projects, but I'm in charge of the solid waste management project. So this place where you are is known as Ecoworld WATAMU Recycling Center. It is a site for where we run the solid waste management project. Yeah. We normally carry out regular beach cleanups. We have a group of community members known as the Blue Team. They are 25 in number. So whenever we have funds, we send them out to do regular beach cleanup. Then they come back, sort the waste. After they've sorted the waste, the hard plastic is crushed, it is sold, and the money is plowed back into the project to actually fund them to go and do more beach cleanups. We also focus on the school-going kids by going out to schools to teach them, to ensure that they really understand the effects of poor waste management practices. Then later on, we organize for a day when they can come and visit us and be taught, learn from us some simple methods of waste management. For instance, initially we used to have a dumping site at Kibarani. On your way from, if you're traveling from Mombasa going to Nairobi, you'd see a dump site at Kibarani. That caused a lot of waste to actually wash into the ocean. And for community members who do not have better waste management systems, some of them might end up dumping the waste directly into the ocean. Because another notion that after interacting with people for a while I got from them was the ideology that the ocean is big and so it can take it. But the thing is, if everybody has the same mentality and we are constantly throwing these things into the ocean, we are building up on the amount of waste that is actually in there. And again, we also have other factors that contribute to that. For instance, when it rains and there's surface runoff, that is the storm drains, the water from that washes up on our land can actually carry waste into the ocean, as well as strong winds can also blow the light kinds of waste into the ocean. And yearly, I know of cargoes being lost into the ocean as a result of the strong waves that toss the ships left and right. And again, the waste that is also there, it's not just from us. We also have other countries that are along the Indian Ocean. They're also contributing to it one way or the other. As it breaks down into tiny pieces, what happens is marine mammals or marine animals can feed on it, thinking that it's food. For instance, a small fish can feed on plastic that has been broken down into small pieces because it's very colorful, and think that it's food. And once they do that, it gets into their system. And since they can't digest it, the more they keep on feeding and bits and pieces here and there, eventually they'll feel like they're full, and they won't feel the need to go out to eat because of all the plastic or other kinds of waste that is in their stomach. Eventually, they end up dying of starvation. With fishing, with ghost gear, that is fishing nets that have been tossed into the ocean, when animals get trapped in them, sometimes they're strangled, because the net itself, for some instance, would actually trapped on a coral rock, and as a fish was trying to pass by it, it gets trapped. The more it tries to move, it can't, because it's already trapped there, but yet no one is holding it there. Again, it ends up dying out of starvation because of such issues. Health-wise, it has been said when fish feeds on plastic, and then the end consumer being human beings, to some extent the plastic would get into our system, but that needs more research to be done so that it can actually be determined that the chemicals that are coming as the plastic is breaking down into tiny pieces are actually getting into the system of the fish and eventually harming the final consumer, which is us, human beings. But that one still is in the process of further research. It hasn't been proven yet. Different groups are playing their roles indirectly. For instance, like I said, boat operate, like WATAMU is a place where people are so dependent on the tourism industry. So for instance, when you go out to the beach, you'll find beach boys themselves just going out to clean that small area where they're working, because that means that more tourists would want to come and hang out at that spot. Okay, the boat operators, the curio sellers who all work along the beach actually just go out and clean the small bits. The hotels, on the other hand, send their staff to clean just that small bit in front of their hotel. And right now, say the community members in WATAMU, mostly the ones found along the beach, have started something known as a takeaway Thursday, where they send their staff members if they are beach plots, or in the case of hotels, they can send both their staff members and some of the guests who are interested in joining the cleanup to just go and clean that small bit in front of either the hotel or the plot. And after that, all that waste is transported to us, where we do the sorting to identify the items that can be recycled. And then, we crush the hard plastic and sell whichever other waste from that can be sold, and the money is plowed back. So we have community groups doing that on their own, hotels playing a part. We have other organizations, but with them they do a bit of more of research. We have other conservation organizations here in WATAMU, and I'm sure they do one or two things concerning, waste management. At the moment, we are just focusing on the shows because we don't have a machine, a vessel to be able to go out and clean the inner part of the ocean. And the motivation, actually the approach that we are using is, we are trying to educate community members to see the value of waste by showing them simple methods of how they can put waste to use. Like for instance, using plastic bottles to make walls, glass bottles to build, and even make art pieces from that. And that encourages them to go out, clean the beaches, and source for raw materials that they can use to make their pieces. Initially, we used to have so many sandals in WATAMU whenever, within the months of April to November, when we had a lot of waste washing up on our beaches. But since people noticed that they could actually pick them and sell them, nowadays we're having a shortage of that because more and more people are looking for them. And we want to do the same also with plastic waste. So the more they go, so what happens is ocean currents actually wash up the waste on our beaches, and when that happens, all of it is actually washed along the high tides. So if people actually go and source for what they can use to make items from waste, they'll be reducing this amount, because during the next high tide, ocean currents, when they're pulling back, they pull it in. So what we do is we trap it here when it has actually been washed up into the shores. And we do simple things like making of bracelets from fishing ropes, and show people how they can do that and sell to either tourists or even other local tourists, both local and international. And the whole aim for that is so that they actually go themselves and clean it without requiring anyone to pay them for that. For one, what we would like is to have regular beach cleanups, because again, if you're doing regular beach cleanups, that is, you're trapping the marine litter when it's washed up on shore and cleaning it on a regular basis. In that way, you're helping to clean the ocean in general. But nobody's going to wake up and go and clean the beach for you for free. People have obligations and needs that they need to cater to. So we normally look for funds to support our group of community members known as the Blue Team to go out and do these cleanups. And since they're 25 in number and they're paid around 500 shillings a day, it's not affordable. Yeah, because if we're to pay them regularly and the amount of hard plastic we are finding on the beach is not enough, if it's crushed and sold, it doesn't balance with the amount that we spent on paying them. It becomes expensive on our part. So we normally look for donors to help support that regular cleanup, because it's other than just helping the community members have a source of income, it's also helping to clean our beaches in the long run. The project started in 2009, but built up slowly over time. What has happened, what big change we have made is most of rather than just doing beach cleanup, we also have hotels bringing in their recyclable waste. You mentioned our pathways. Those ones come mostly from hotels. So we go out and teach them on how to sort their waste so that all that waste doesn't go to landfills, because hotels normally pay the county government to come and pick their waste and take it to landfills. So if they've put aside all their recyclable waste from plastic, glass, metal, aluminium tins, what else? Cardboards, that is paper related waste. If they put them aside and they are brought here to be recycled, that resource is not thrown away. And that means on the part where we have our landfills, they are not growing as fast as they would. Yeah. So the hotels are practicing better waste management ways by sorting their waste and bringing the ones that they have to be recycled here. For instance, initially when we started, we were the ones who were doing the beach cleanups ourselves. But after a while, for waiting for a donor to support the Blue Team, and the community members got tired of that long wait and dirty beaches, they took up initiative by themselves and started the Takeaway Thursday thing, where they're the ones who are cleaning on their own. Yeah, and another thing is when we go out to schools, we teach kids on better waste management practices. And obviously we hope that through them they can reach their families and explain to them how to manage their waste. And now when I go to a school and I want to talk about waste, and the kids finish my whole presentation when I'm still on the first slide that just has my name, they've already mentioned about the effect it has on the marine life, the effect it has on their health, the effect it has on the environment. We feel really encouraged, because we feel like, if these kids will continue like this and teach even their kids, we'll be curbing this problem of marine pollution at its roots. I would say that if we can prevent that waste from going in the environment in the first place, it would not end up in the ocean. First of all, people should really focus on the 3 R's. I know we've said it so many times. That is to reuse, reduce, and recycle, though we don't have so many recycling facilities in Kenya. So we are left with reduce, reuse, or repurpose, okay? So that's whereby whenever they see waste, I would like more and more people to actually look at it as a resource. Okay, think of ways you can put your waste to use and sell it eventually to others, whereby you spent zero money on your raw material, which is waste, and in return getting a huge profit when you actually transform it into a worthwhile product. So just change their mentality when it comes to waste and look at it as a resource as opposed to an ugly thing.